Why don't we just go down with a quick roll call? I've heard Hal on the line. I know Jack's on the line. Rod, you're on the line, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. Is Don on the line?
Yes, just got on.
All right, great. Glad to have you. Kim, are you on the line? All right, no Kim. How about Chris? No Chris. All right, Tamara? All right, no Tamara. Lou, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Great. Hi, Lou. Jeff, are you on?
Hi.
No Jeff? All right. He's going to be sneaky. He's going to just start talking later. You know it. Frank, are you on?
I'm on. Can you hear me?
All right, great. Great. Matt, are you on?
Yep.
All right, great. Matt's on. And I saw Dean, so we know Dean is on. Is anyone else on that has not announced?
Kim is.
Oh, great. Thanks for joining, Kim. All right, so quick roll call on committee members. We've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8. We have 8 committee members tonight. Okay.
1, 2, 3,
so
4,
appreciate everyone's time tonight. We're going to, because this is a special meeting, we're not going to go over any minutes from our previous meetings. We'll hold that off till next time. Not going to go over any invoices. Our agenda will be restricted to just 2 items and a general update, I guess. And that is change orders. And specifically, one needs to be discussed and acted upon this evening. We'll go through a quick 2-week look ahead, and Matt has another meeting at the bottom of the hour, so I promised him that we would be quick. But Matt, do you want to take us through the change order that needs action?
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're a little quiet, but we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I'll speak up. So the change order I did include in the Dropbox link that was sent out to everybody is for lights, replacement light fixtures in the bar grill area. It's for furnishing 25 IC rated or insulation contact rated light fixtures in that area. The original spec did not had non-IC rated fixtures, which essentially means it can't contact insulation. And we do need insulation in that area. It was in the design. We did review 3 potential options for reconciliation or resolution of this issue. One of which was to simply just hold back. The manufacturer's recommendation is to keep insulation a minimum of 3 inches away from the fixture. And so, obviously, option 1 was to hold back the installed insulation roughly 3 inches from all the fixtures. Unfortunately, that presents an issue from the energy code standpoint as well as the building code official. Wasn't keen on or going to approve that option, so couldn't go forward with that. Option number 2 was to put what's called fire hats, or in layman term, covers over the top of those light fixtures that would essentially create a barrier between the insulation and the light fixture itself. Unfortunately, the light fixtures and the manufacturer does not recommend utilizing fire hats or covers over these light fixtures, and utilizing that would potentially void the warranty on these light fixtures. We still had that option priced and reviewed that with DPW, and they agreed from a maintenance standpoint that they did not want to go that path, as it could not only void warranty, but could make it so that drivers and such didn't last as long as they could otherwise or should otherwise. So option 3 is what is in front of you today, which is actually replacing or utilizing completely different light fixtures that are in fact IC rated and can be installed adjacent to or in direct contact with insulation. And that comes to the total of $13,254.82. Unfortunately, the fixtures that were originally specified had already been procured by the contractor. So that kind of elevates the cost, and we don't get any credit. There's no ability to return those fixtures, so we won't be able to obtain a credit for those. The light fixtures that were originally spec'd and already procured will be turned over to the town as part of this for potential use elsewhere.
Okay.
Can we ask Dean to explain how this happened?
Sure, I can chime in. It's not uncommon for us to specify a non-IC light fixture when we have bat insulation rod. To be honest, I think the building official is being unreasonable personally, but again, he has the right to dictate what he's asking for. If you can envision this, all we need to do is clear this fixture by 3 inches. The insulation sits between the bottom cords of the trusses. We virtually have trusses above this area where these type A1 fixtures are going. You know, if you were doing this in your own house, you would push the insulation away from the light fixture and make sure it was 3 inches clear. There is, there are, you know, metal rods. They're like coat hangers that are used to hold insulation in place. We often would see contractors put a few of those in just to make a little tent to make sure that the insulation doesn't touch the fixture. Better yet, what I often would tell a contractor to do would be to put some 2x4s on the top of the bottom cord of the truss. That would force the insulation to sit on a piece of 2x4, and basically the insulation would, you know, just belly up a little bit. It would, you know, bridge up over the light fixture to keep it away. So it's not uncommon for us to specify a non-IC. The only time we ever specify an IC is when we have a flat roof deck above our light fixture and we don't have the ability to push the insulation up and we can't crunch or crush the insulation because we lose its R value. But if you can envision this, we don't really understand why they won't accept the insulation just bridging over the light fixture and us making sure that there's a 3-inch air gap that's kept maintained over the duration of the building. But again, the building official, in our opinion, is being unreasonable in saying that they want the plane of the insulation to stay intact with the rest of the insulation, and therefore we need an IC light fixture. So how did it happen? Sure, we could have specified an IC fixture, but in all honesty, because when we have attic spaces above it, we traditionally don't do that. In all of our years, we've never had an official call us out as this building official is calling us to replace those fixtures with a IC fixture.
And Dean, this is Jack Slane. Could I ask, in the drawings that you gave to the building official 6 months ago, 8 months ago, was it clear from your specs what you were calling for and how it was going to be done?
Yes, our specs are clear, but to be honest, to expect them to get into this level of detail at review, sure, you can sit back and say they reviewed it, they'd approved it, they shouldn't deviate, but in all honesty, there's so many, you know, hundreds of pages of spec and hundreds of pages of drawing, and this is a pretty obscure one. These officials don't see what they see until they see it. That's the reality.
So what did they do? Did they actually see this during an inspection?
They can see now that the trusses are in place, and no, they did not see, quote, the insulation or the lights because they're not up yet. When we now describe the scenario to them, they are saying they would rather we go to an IC fixture.
Hey, Dean, this is Don. I'm looking at the plan view of the grill room. Looks like those A1 fixtures are throughout that whole ceiling area.
Throughout the bar area.
Throughout the bar area, grill room.
Yeah.
So
and we have a non-heated. It's not an attic, but we have a non-heated void that's created by the trusses above. So there's a non-heated void up there. So it's not like we have a space crunch for getting the insulation to be higher than the fixture. We have plenty of room up there. And again, when we have plenty of room, we normally don't specify an IC, and we just make sure the insulation is kept 3 inches off the fixture.
All right, so the spec requires that, and the code requires that, 3 inches above the fixture. So if you can do it without, you said something about the building inspector didn't want to keep the same level of insulation throughout, but that whole ceiling, if you raise the insulation 3 inches above and ensured that it didn't sag down, what grounds do they have to say it's not compliant if it meets code? Other than I want to spend money and take it out of the town's money, which makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't want to cause, I don't want to derail the change order in front of us tonight. But yes, our position was this is silly. But again, I can't control what the building official demands or dictates in the field, and he has a right, Don, to go above and beyond the code.
Yeah, I know that.
So this is not
authority having jurisdiction.
This is not a code issue. This is a manufacturer requirement issue. The manufacturer of this fixture requires the 3 inches of clearance.
And guys, let me interject with a couple of questions too. I just want to clarify. So I take Don's point. I do think that if we had more time, perhaps we could continue to try and lobby with the building inspector. But I think the important thing to note is that the issue was posed to the building inspector, and the building inspector ruled effectively. So absent kind of a follow-up appeal, I think the question has been asked and answered. I think the reason why we called a special meeting tonight and didn't wait until next Tuesday to act on this is because, and Matt, this is where you need to help out a little bit, but this is a time-sensitive issue. I believe the ceiling, the insulation has already been put in place. The ceiling work has already been installed, and they're looking to get these light fixtures in yesterday. So I don't think we're in a position to continue to lobby with the inspector to consider putting a whole row of 2x4s to suspend the insulation as Dean suggested. So, Matt, I don't know if you want to chime in on the construction schedule and the time sensitivity of this change order, but that may be relevant.
Yeah, it's definitely time sensitive, as Craig mentioned, which is why we did call together a special meeting. Ideally, Werner, from Werner's perspective, they would be essentially installing these light fixtures now, or yesterday, as Craig said. And we expended some time in investigating these other two options once, as well as this one in front of us, to ensure that we were presenting the most appropriate change order to the committee. But at this point, yes, we are on the clock.
Hey,
and how long is it going to take to get these?
Can I just follow up on my comment, being I stirred the pot here a little bit, and I know we don't really have a choice. Our backs are up against the wall, but just as a note to the minutes or the file, right, there seemed to be an option to save some money. So when the town is knocking on our door for more money, here's $14,000 that could have been pursued as a cost savings, and now it's not.
Agreed. I think that's really important to note in the minutes, Don. I think that's a good, an excellent point to note.
Yeah, I will say that the larger group, both Silver Petrocelli, Colliers, and Werner, tried to work through various different options to try and minimize the potential cost of anything associated with this. We do.
Do we know of
All right, go
any
ahead.
reason why the town went this way? Are they trying to make a point?
No, Hal, I think the town is interested in us preserving as much, spending as little as possible. So no, I don't think the point is anything more than the building inspector having an opinion that he wants these. What's the type of light? IC lights. And the other alternative that we pursued was with these fire hats. That would void the warranty, and DPW doesn't want to have lights installed with warranties voided. So, I think we pursued, less expensive alternatives, and both were thwarted.
Does Warner have these ordered? Yeah, that question.
I'm sorry, there were a couple of questions there.
Sorry.
Do they have them ordered?
Oh. Matt, do you know how long it would take to get these alternate lights, or if they've been ordered?
The last we heard, it was 2 to 3 days to have them on site.
Yeah, they were available. They're all available.
Yep, they're all available.
Does that mean you want to make a motion, Rod, to approve the change order?
Yeah, let's make a motion. I make a motion to approve the change order of, what's the amount?
$13,254.82. I'll second the motion.
Yes, for that.
Who's that, Hal seconded?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So any further discussion before I go to a vote? Or any other questions? Okay.
Yeah, just one quick question.
Yeah.
The folks who wanted the money, I guess, in DPW, when it comes to a reckoning with all of that, is anybody there going to say, geez, why didn't you guys come to us? Why didn't you tell us about that? I could have fixed that in 5 minutes with a phone call.
With the lights, you mean?
Yeah.
I guess I'm not following the question. We did go to DPW and ask for them to consider not replacing these lights, and they said no.
All right. That's fine. As long as there's no second guesser at the end saying, geez,
It may be a circumstance where the left hand and right hand aren't talking to each other, but yeah. The question was asked. We're on the record, right, Matt, that we've inquired with DPW?
Yeah, that's an email format.
Okay. Any other questions before I call for a vote? Not hearing any.
By the way, that was Jeff.
I know.
he snuck in there.
He's got video though, too.
I did call it.
Yes,
okay.
You did.
So, Hal, how
yes.
do you vote? Jack?
Yes.
Rod?
Yes.
Thank you. Don?
Yes.
Kim? Kim, are you still with us? All right. No vote from Kim. Chris and Tim are not here. Lou?
Yes.
Okay. Jeff?
Jeff says yes.
All right, Frank?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll vote yes again. Last call for Kim. Kim, are you on? All right, so Prue, that would be 8 yeses and 1 abstention, I guess.
Who's Kim is the abstention?
Yeah, she was on the call earlier, but she's not didn't respond. Okay. All right, we have it's 6:19 by my clock. Matt, do you want to quickly just take a few minutes to update the committee on the 2-week look ahead? And there's obviously a lot going on. So if you could let everybody know where we stand and what things look like, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Like you said, there's a lot going on, so I'll do my best. Let's see. UI is set to do their electrical service install tomorrow. We also expect have tentative confirmation, I'll say, that new gas service is being installed the end of this week. Electrical rough-ins and HVAC rough-ins in Zone 3 are ongoing. Drywall installs are also in progress throughout. Pro shop millwork installations are under progress.
What installations? I'm sorry.
Pro shop millwork, which is basically the counter.
Yeah, pro shop millwork. Yep. Chimney masonry veneer is on site, and installation should begin shortly. Also, interior beam wraps in the rotunda area are ongoing as well. As soon as gas installation occurs, they're going to work to start up the mechanical units, and that will facilitate trim work and additional woodwork to be done, as well as interior door installations. There's also a bunch of stuff happening around site. I'm sure you've all seen sidewalk out front get installed. As soon as the gas service is installed, they can complete that concrete work and pathway work. And then they'll be working on prepping the parking lot, installing light poles in the parking lot, and getting ready for DPW to do that paving.
And that paving's going to happen at the end of the month, right?
Yeah, right now it's scheduled for the week of October 26th, so in a few weeks.
Also, tile in all the bathrooms. The floor tile is going down this week as we speak. Most of the wall tile is already completed.
Yep.
And Matt, you mentioned that the some of the trim work and such is waiting until the gas line is installed so that the building can be closed up, so that then the building could have conditioned space and climate control, right? I imagine that the wood floor, the flooring goes down at the same time?
The flooring is a little bit less of a climate concern, just because it's vinyl rather than full wood, but the trim work is certainly and doors are certainly important to have climate controlled, and the flooring will probably follow shortly after.
Yeah, they want those products, Craig, to acclimate in the environment. In other words, they want them rested in the environment that they're being installed in for a few days or as long as possible. So they want the building closed in and then a little bit of acclimating time.
Yep, makes sense. Okay. Any questions for Matt or Dean on the 2-week look ahead?
I have one. This is Don. Is the temperature control, meaning HVAC system, going to be operable already, that we can maintain proper temperature for all this finished work?
It'll be started up once the gas service is installed, which is we got confirmation earlier today that SCP should be out there on Thursday to do that install.
All right. So within a couple weeks, you think we'll have HVAC systems running to maintain the proper control in the building?
As long as the new gas service, in fact, is installed on Thursday, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say next week, right?
I mean, right now, temperatures are ideal. You don't really need anything, but in a little while, we're going to need heat.
Yeah, yep. Don, in our specs, Don, dictate that Werner does that. In other words, we won't allow them to install those temperature-sensitive products until they have the building temperature controlled.
Okay.
Dean, what about the wraps? Are they temperature sensitive? The beam wraps.
No, I mean they're not as temperature sensitive as the smaller millwork is.
Okay.
I saw the guys putting beam wraps on today at 4:30. They stayed late and looked pretty good.
Yeah, it's looking nice so far, so they're doing a good job.
Great.
Are there any issues with any of the finished materials that aren't available or delayed or anything?
Nothing that I've heard of.
Okay, and the next question is, did we finally settle on a bar top material, and is that ordered?
I know we had switched it to wood, but I just don't know what I don't know what it's supposed to look like.
Well, could we get an answer at the next meeting?
Of where the delivery is on that, Jeff?
Yeah, what it is and if there are any issues with it. Who's fabricating it, I don't care. But
yeah, I haven't heard where the delivery is on that, Matt, and I'm not sure if you have. But yes, we can get you that answer, Jeff.
Thanks.
No, I haven't heard that specifically, but yeah, we can look at that.
Could I ask what the paving is going to cost us with the Department of Public Works? Did we?
Yeah, real quickly, because I do want to be respectful of Matt's other meeting, and I promised him we'd wrap up by 6:30. But the cost that the town has asked us to consider is $90,000, and I met with Matt and I together met with town officials last week to discuss. We made the point that we could play ball and to the extent that there was leftover contingency that they wanted to use for whatever purposes, a parking lot or otherwise, it's the town's money, but they could not encumber our project with the $90,000 today, and that was as of last week.
Yeah.
And I think they understood the point that I made. And they are going to continue to pay attention to where we spend our money and what the state of the contingency balance looks like. But to the extent that we are at or above 90,000, we've got, I don't want to say free reign, but we've got control of our destiny. Once we start to spend money out of our contingency that goes below the 90,000, I would expect pushback from purchasing.
All right. Well, good. Nice job. At least they're not taking it now.
Right. Right. Okay. Anything else for Matt or Dean or anything else in general? All right. Thank you, everybody, for gathering on short notice. Matt, you've got the approval on the change order. If you send it over, I'll sign it. And then we'll meet next week at our regular time, 6:30.
All right.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
In a second. All right.
Second.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Enjoy your meeting, Matt.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.